For you, we are here again to another political analysis, possibly taking 1 hour before we can go back to edutainment for us to actually look at the farmer's fate. We looked at general aspects of stories coming up, but now we'll be looking at a different perspective. So guys, let's go for it. Yeah, so currently there's a lot of politicking or politics going on, people trying to create ground for the 2027 politics. Now, one of the hitting stories is Oparanya's story, but before that, let's look at Wamuchomba, guys. Yeah, so Wamuchomba today was on an interview on Daybreak, and I listened to her carefully. Guys, you know very well that Wamuchomba has not embraced the government for so long. She is the MP of Githunguri, and she really doubts that the president will deliver the promises he's giving at State House to the many people who are meeting him, including the people from Kiambu County. Of course, Githunguri is found within Kiambu County, and we've seen numerous times Wamuchomba having clashes with the government. There is a time even she was put on house, we call it house what? House arrest or something like that. She was restrained from attending meetings when Ruto and his team were going to Kiambu because they thought she was going to be a security problem to them. And later on, we saw her parading at the CID and giving information about her being threatened. Now, I don't know where the story ended, but so far, we didn't hear anything until now. So, Wamuchomba Gathoni is one of the people who has been very close to, Gachagua. And of course, she was even suspended from parliament, and she came out complaining bitterly, indicating that many women are being silenced as long as they are straightforward and they are focused towards reforms. All right. So she came out saying a lot of things to do with the track records, especially the projects that are being launched, but then they don't proceed. Now, she mentioned that in Kiambu, there is another project, especially the market that started, modern markets, and they were supposed to have a tune of about 4.5 billion shillings, and they were never complete up to now. Now, she came about to doubt the project which Ruto was just there trying to say that he's going to allocate 30 billion shillings to the housing, and the fact that he was insisting that this is going to happen. So, how about you? Do you believe that Ruto is going to deliver the 30 billion houses in Kiambu? All right, that is my question. All right, guys. So, according to Wamuchomba, the president is very popular and vocal, experienced. But when it comes to commitment, he does not commit a fulfillment of the project. Yeah. So, Wamuchomba indicated that the president has actually promised 15,000, houses. But this is laughable, according to Wamuchomba, because she indicated that Ruto has been launching fanfare. But the foundation stage is all she can see. All right. So she indicated also that there is a time that the president was in Githunguri, and he came with a lot of force, launched markets. But then the day he left, the contractor also left, guys. I used to read this in a book known as A Man of the People by, of course, the Chinua Achebe in Nigeria. And I did not understand what manipulation is. It's a form of corruption, by the way, manipulation. You manipulate the mind of people, they see that you're going to do something for them, and you withdraw. January Witch is here again. Welcome, welcome. Like the video. And anybody else on the board, before you proceed, subscribe to the channel and share my videos, guys, just to help me grow. All right. So can you imagine the president launches something, a market, then the contractor is put in place, and the day the president leaves, he leaves. That is the day they place the fountain stone. Now, I'm just trying to recall and relate this to what Gloria Orwoba, who has been in government, said. He said that most of the times the president will play with the minds of the people, start something but not proceed with it, you know. So Wamchomba was arguing that before embarking on the large-scale housing project, the government should complete the initiatives they started earlier, before promising the people of Kiambu more. Now, is this happening in Kiambu alone or other places? That is the question we have to ask ourselves. All right. So, the Wamchomba was literally saying that if the president could not deliver houses, not houses really, but the market, how comes he believes he can deliver houses, you know? And the number that he has promised is just too ambitious, or is it over ambitious? Yeah. Now, she was criticizing the State House forums also as push policy matters that should be debated against, because according to her, some of the projects the president is promising people in State House belong to the county government and not the central government. I don't know. Do Kenyans really understand this? Ray Gibson. I am doing very fine, Ray. How about you? Yeah, so when I look at the politics of Kenya, we are not doing well because, in fact, I don't know whether citizens know what the central government should do and what the county government should do. I don't think people have understood up to now of the central government and the county government. And that is why people will be fooled so easily to believe in what is not working. They'll be told some projects have been done by the central government when it's not true. Like I normally look at matters CDF and I wonder, when people go around being paraded by the MPs and then the MPs read the names of students and they say that, students are actually receiving money from their pockets. You know, parents believe this. Do you know that? And that is why MPs have taken credit all the time. Whenever a bus is bought for CDF, they don't really want citizens to know that this is their money. They go about, they launch a day, they disrupt lessons, and they'll go parading teachers and students to stand and watch as money is being handed over to the school. What a mistake. What a folly. Ray Gibson saying, I'm not so good, but God is good. All right. We believe in God. Even me, particularly today, we've lost a family member. But then we have to proceed because what do we do? You know, it is what it is, guys. So we just have to bear with it and proceed. Yeah. All right. January which says, sorry for the loss. Thank you. Thank you. Ray Gibson also said, sorry to hear, but we have to go someday. Of course, that is it. But when somebody goes when they are so young, sometimes it is so bad because the family member who has actually passed away is a very young lady. She is in her 30s with 3 kids who are very young. So it's not very, very easy. Sometimes when we lose all the members of the family, we console ourselves that they have lived their time and they are not living orphans. But now this one has left 3 kids who are very young. She has died at a very tender age of 30, around 34. So that is why we have to really mourn that because she is very young of her kids, but then it is what it is. Anyway, yes, so let's proceed. Let's proceed. So, looking at the situation of the critics that are being played against the president, yeah, against the president, we realize that people are not informed. Okay, people are not informed about what the central government should do and what the local government, or rather county government, should do. And therefore, sometimes you find the president coming up saying the markets have to be done, I don't know, the water have to be done, and that is not the duty of the, the national government should not be playing such roles. But it has come out that the president is now blowing trumpet even in projects that are not worth. Some counties don't even want some project. Let's just listen to Michomba here. I want some small video from her. Let's listen at this. We, Teresa, Teresa, Teresa. Wada.
Apparently look like we are
Wada, welcome to the platform. Thank you so much.
Areas of Deya Rimuru, Kabete, Kikuyu, areas of Muranga, Katanga, areas of Nyeri, Kieni East, Embu, Laikipia East, Laikipia West, Laikipia North,
I am from Kenya.
The whole county. All those areas that have been traditionally extreme hardship areas are going to be reviewed, and they are going to be reclassified. And therefore, a lot of these 118 teachers are going to lose their allowance, and the government plans to save 6 billion. So should this kind of discussion, heavy discussion, be taken to State House? And should they be handled by 10,000 teachers engaging one president? Do you expect any productive results from that kind of? When Mheshimiwa tells us that they went to State House to discuss CBA, who executed this point? How was it executed? Did they finally agree that teachers are going to get their allowances, or they are going to drop? Who allowed them to reclassify? Did the teachers that were in State House, the actual representation of the teaching fraternity that is supposed to go to negotiate for the review of these hardship areas? You know.
All right, guys. All right. You've heard it. I've talked about this matter already. And I don't know whether people got it. I said very well that the people who are being called to the State House are representing themselves. Why Da has said lots of love and respect from beautiful India. Thank you so much from India. How is your beautiful day going, ma'am? It's fine, though we've had a challenge with a member of family being lost. You know, it's a moment that all of us really have to appreciate that something bad has happened, and however much you try to avoid it, it has happened. So anyway, we are proceeding, but we just pray that God will give us wisdom and also solace to the orphans who have been left by my young sister-in-law, because she was in 30-something, 34 there, and she's lost her life. So the kids are left without a mother anyway. So that is the bad news for the day. But away from that, everything was okay. The headaches I was having are subsiding. I took some medicine, and so also I slept a little bit earlier yesterday. So I think I've been a bit well. So thank you so much for wishing good for me. Wida, thank you so much. All right. So let's proceed into this discussion in State House daybreak. Wamchomba was really hitting it. The reality is that it is so sad for the teachers. Those who represent them parade there, eating meals, dancing, and do you imagine that 6-point-something million teachers are represented only by 1,000 people who go to the State House, and they go there to praise and worship the president and say that everything is okay, that the president has exceeded expectation? Yet you hear our Mchomba clearly telling us what happened there. There is a review of areas. Now, guys, I was one of the people who used to work in a hardship area. Hardship area means you have almost 12,000 more on your salary. But then when you move away from such a zone, that money is lost. And if they review the worst, because sometimes you have loans. Now, if this is a situation that is going to happen in central Kenya, you can imagine how the people will feel, the impact on their pocket, all that. But it is what it is. Kenya, anything is possible. I remember that time I was teaching Mwatate. And when I was teaching Mwatate, they came to review the places and they dropped to pairs. I'm telling you, teachers were really suffocating. Some even had to conduct suicide, because you can imagine you have a loan in bank. Then they drop your area and review from hardship to no hardship. So if you are having a loan, how do you pay 15,000 per month? It became a very hard moment for most of the teachers, and I wouldn't imagine any other county would face the same. Luckily for me, that time I was not even having any loan. But then I saw how teachers went through a very traumatizing moment, and I wouldn't wish for anybody to go through the same, even if they're an enemy. So let's check to this.
We must separate issues of politics from development issues. We must separate. What I saw in State House was a meeting to impress, to perceive, to create a perception that the president has support of massive numbers of teachers. But the critical issues that are supposed to be discussed, where they're supposed to be discussed, are never discussed. This report was supposed to be executed in Parliament. Unfortunately, matters that are supposed to be executed in Parliament are not handled in Parliament, are taken to State House. What is State House? State House is not Parliament. State House is not a house where we deliberate and debate on matters teachers. State House is not the house that's supposed to make decisions on capitation. I have seen the president talk about capitation and saying, oh, we are going to make sure that we allocate the next financial year. He is not the person who deals with budget. Article 95 of the Kenyan Constitution here is very clear. Budgets are allocated by the National Assembly. So when the president stands in front of teachers in State House and commits that we are going to review capitation, we are going to make sure next year we allocate more, he is not the one who allocates. It is Parliament. So he's actually telling the one.
So guys, I like Wamchomba for one thing. She's very eloquent in how she communicates. The other thing, she's very courageous. She said what she has to say, just like you hit the nail on the head. The other thing is that she's very informed, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, information is power. Many people in Kenya are not informed. I'm so sure even the NAT representatives and the KUPPET, when they went to Parliament, they thought they are supposed to go there and praise and worship the president. They were not representing us. I was surprised that members who are representing teachers would go into Parliament and begin to say that the president has exceeded expectation. Which expectation has he exceeded? Currently, if you go to many teachers' homes, they are suffering. Some of them cannot afford the meals that are suitable. They cannot afford even to pay rent without complaining, for those who live in rental houses. And for those who live in their own houses, they still have a lot of things to struggle with. When a teacher takes a loan, most of them take a loan. Let's say if you take a loan of 1.8 million, do you know how long you'll pay that? 8 years. 8 good years. So if you took the loan when you are pregnant, by the time you give birth and you bear the child and take care of the child until 8 years, which means they're already in grade 4, you'll be still paying the loan. My good people, ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine the fate of teachers? And yet the representatives went to State House and they began saying the president has exceeded expectation. Isaac Joseph, welcome, welcome. You are saying big nose. Small nose, I'm very fine. How are you? Okay. So that is exactly the fate of our country and the mess which many people encounter without understanding. And lack of information is actually the end of, anybody. Yeah? If I may say, how many people are informed about what Gathoni Wamchomba was saying? Very few people. Very few people are informed about what Wamchomba knows. And even the union representatives who are there, blowing a trumpet and all that. But the reality is that they do not know what they really wanted. because they never discuss with teachers. And if this thing was supposed to be discussed in parliament, why was it brought to the State House before the teacher representatives? If it was supposed to be discussed, why didn't they have some teachers actually getting into meetings and sharing things about the same before they could come up with it? You know, there is a question answer there. A question answer also. You are free to participate in that. Say your favorite artist. Okay. So Isaac Joseph, I hope you're still there. Like my video. Like the video of Big Nose. All right. So I am just looking at that, and it's a point of interest, especially if you go watch the Daybreak, you'll understand what Wamchomba was saying. And she was quite informed. She didn't go for the interview before she was prepared. Now let's get to Oparanya, for example. Oparanya is facing serious cases, and of course they did not start today or tomorrow. What happened is that Oparanya started facing serious cases of anti-corruption. You know, there was about how much? There was about 50, let's just see this. Yeah, there was a lot of money that was actually claimed to have been bribed in 2020. Is it when he was the governor of Kakamega, of course. Many people got contracts through crude deals. And therefore, there have been cases that were withdrawn. However, they have come back. And be sure when they come back, the government may not be unaware of what is happening. Now, allegedly, this is happening to Oparanya after he had said akona peremende mdomoni, so hafai kuongea. Wale hawamumunyi peremende, they can go on making noise. All right? So let's look at this. Oparanya arrest and charges must follow High Court judgment quashing DPP's decision to drop corruption charges. So let's look at this article together with you. So of course you see the press release, all right? Yeah? You clearly see that the National Integrity Alliance calls for immediate arrest of Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives and MSMEs Development Weekly for Oparanya following a High Court judgment issued today by Honorable Musyoki. The High Court has ruled that the Director of Public Prosecution acted unlawfully and unconstitutionally when it reversed an earlier decision to prosecute former governor, now serving as Cabinet Secretary. Let's see what is going to happen to. Yeah, considering this landmark judgment, the National Integrity Alliance demands the immediate arrest of Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya based on corruption charges that were unlawfully dropped, that the Director of Public Prosecutions immediately files fresh charges in accordance with the ESCC's investigative and today's court judgment, that the DPP's cases ceases to the unconstitutional usurpation of investigative functions and respect the ESCC constitutional mandate under Article 79. And lastly, that institutional cooperations between ODPP and ESCC be immediately restored and enforced to uphold the integrity of criminal justice system and safeguard public trust in fight against corruption. This judgment is a victory of accountability, transparency, and rule of law. Now, guys, one thing that I'll assure you is that when aspects of ESC began to hound people, it started with it started with the Speaker of the Parliament, then it went to Kimani Ichung'wah. Something has not really added up because currently there is silence about it. But then they have now gone further to move to Wycliffe Oparanya. And of course, you remember the wheelbarrow man and the other, I saw the other MP somewhere being also actually put in matters court. Now, it comes as a saddening event, and of course, the reason why all this is happening is because Oparanya seems to be now pulling the leg of ODM. On Saturday, was it Friday? On Friday, if you listen to Oparanya, this is what he said. This is what he said, guys.
Anakuambia atokiwa chairman ODM unaweza kupata kiti ya ugavana, anapata nini? Anakudanganya. Kwa sababu hii viti mbili ni viti tofauti kabisa. Kwa sababu tuna wazee wengine, tuna wamama, tuna vijana, hata hawajui mambo ya ODM.
So yeah, so we saw over the, I think last week, Oparanya was actually focusing on supporting a different member to become the governor of Kakamega. So that means possibly ODM not in the picture. And also the member who Raila has supported is being kicked out. Now remember, currently ODM and UDR are operating together. So some of the things that Ruto would want are the same that Raila would want. And therefore, if Oparanya is against it, why not? Now, also, the other aspect is that there is reshuffling cooking in the country. Ruto is allegedly indicated to reshuffle the cabinet very soon. Of course, that should be one of the things. He may be dropping Oparanya very soon because maybe Raila thinks he's not functional. Okay? Now, let's see this. There is something here.
After the High Court's Wycliffe Oparanya following a high court.
Now, the thing that amazes me in Kenya is that when people receive power, they think they are gods or goddesses. And here, there is one. When Wycliffe Oparanya was given cabinet position, he felt so big that he ignored what the people are suffering. And this is what he said.
You don't remember? You don't remember? Here's the tip.
Hiyo peremende nilipatia watu wangu kidogo pia wakule peremende, sio? Hiyo ndio mambo. Hao watu wanaona wanaongea hapa wako kwa tabu kubwa. Na hiyo ndio kweli wa
Now guys, Oparanya said that when we had Khalwale talking about the challenges that he was encountering, and he was so glad that akona peremende mdomoni, hakujua kwamba itanyang'anywa, but based on the analysis, of course we know that Oparanya might be losing his seat because you've read those allegations and possible arrest that has been indicated. So how possible will he continue to eat the peremende? Meanwhile, let's go to another story. Another political drama that has emerged is in Baringo. Not even drama, but a sad situation. We really feel sorry for the people. We really feel sorry for the people of Baringo because remember, was it last year? Last year, a father was killed. Not last year, term 1. That is around February or March. A father was killed. Now, currently, there are bandits again who have come up and they have injured 3 people, killing 1 in a highway robbery attack. Let's look at this, guys. Freezer. Weka miguu chini, tupa tawel. Siku hizi mnajifunika tawel na glovu. Tupa tawel. So guys, as you look at that, you can see that that area has been barricaded, okay? Has been barricaded with a lot of police on security, what we call combat and what? Intelligence happening here. So let's look at this. They are searching and trying to follow up, but it has already happened. I don't know why my site is trying to hang and all that. I don't understand what's happening.
Iko sawa, twende.
Zana driver sasa, risasi ikaisha, akanipiga moja, risasi ikaisha, akaenda kuleta risasi. Wakati ameleta risasi ndio tulipata usaidizi, lakini alikuwa amepaswa kioo ya nyuma, alikuwa ananifuruta, ananiambia ataniulia hapo nje. Hapo ndio tulipata usaidizi ya kufika kunipiga. Askari aliyefika mmoja walimenyana na yeye sana, ndio baadaye wengine wakaja, so tulimpoteza ndugu mmoja pale pale na lakini ilikuwa alituterrorize for 1 hour kabisa, na watu wakipita hapo anarudi kwa msitu tena, anarudi maana gari ambapo mahali liliingia alingetoka, so na ilikuwa inakaribia saa 7. Yeah.
So ulipata majeraha upande gani hasa, wewe walikupiga wapi?
Yeah, so the banditry attack, actually highway robbery in Baringo, is actually showing very sad scenery, with one guy having lost his life and many more actually being hurt. Now meanwhile, let's get to a different story of Gladys Wanga. We are told that Gladys Wanga almost walked out of Senate after being exposed of paying 1,327 ghost workers every day. And people say, why are you talking about it? But the reality is that the shenanigans happening in government are just too bad. Just too bad. Just too bad. Okay?
To all plus-size women ready to ditch cortisol.
Yeah, so Gladys Wanga has been one of the people who had won the heart of the president, because even when the president went to Homa Bay at some point, he was frying fish in Wanga's compound, and things were going so well. And of course, we saw late that most times the president is actually having a lot of favors on Homa Bay. But let's look at this grilling here.
The Price Water Coopers census audit report, and the implementation was to take effect from 1st January 2025. From the report.
And that's the point, Chair. The letter is written on 24th of January. Yes. The recommendation are supposed to be implemented as from 1st of January the same year.
So how was that supposed to be done?
Okay. Governor, can you just... The audit story was that 32 million was committed, there was no product, it
had taken too long. Now, perhaps that should not be the issue for now. The issue now is the value for money. What is the outcome of that exercise? The issues of contract duration, those we can deal with fairly quickly. So when did this report land on your desk?
Give me a minute. Let me just check the exact date.
Governor, can I assist you? Because according to this report, 11A, it's stamped, but the engagement, the first engagement was on 23rd August 2023. If Chairman, if you look at the bundle,
that's what signed by Simon Mutinda?
Yes, this one that was signed by Simon Mutinda. So the governor should tell us when did they start doing the audit and how long was it supposed. I know you have said you could deal with that, but you can see the assignment.
I had a view, Chair, and I think based on the volumes of documents that we have had to come with before Senate, I apologize to the Senate that there were mechanical errors with the machine that we were using, and it put us to this. Apologies.
So is it only one document? It was intentionally supplied to Chair.
Through the Chair, just a few of them, because the bulk of the documents are very clear.
Okay, let's come to the more substantive administrative action. CS was to speak to the ghost workers. I mean, this is a very interesting report, because if you go to Appendix 4, the first name on that schedule of list of 1,370 individuals without staff files in the county registry. Number 1 is Gladys Atieno Nyasuna, who I believe is the governor.
This is why I told you, this is why I called them the so-called.
Is that what cannot be implemented?
No, you could see that from there was a very mechanical process done by PwC that did not. This now gives you evidence. The reason why we had to review and look at an internal review of the documentation. When you went to look for the files, you may not have found a file for the governor because of the filing system at that time. But PwC